Why was Adolescence so long? Jeez. Hey y'all, welcome back to Reed's Weekly Recaps, where me, Cherie, recap some of the things that I have been watching throughout the week. So let's get started. Friendly reminder, if you hear any background noise in terms of cars or trains or planes, it's because I live in a city and it's noisy. As always, I have my handy dandy notebook here. So first we're going to get started with Adolescence. So Adolescence was it a limited series? It may have been on Netflix, and it was about, I won't spoil it for you, but if you watched it, you know what? This is a spoiler alert, okay? So just if you don't want to hear about it, because I don't have to dance around all of my thoughts about everything. So yeah, this is going to be spoilers involved. So apparently most of this film and the scenes that they shot were just one long drawn out thing, and you could really tell. And the premise of the show or the series is like this: a crime was committed. We know that the little boy is what would we call him? Would we call him a sociopath or a psychopath? I can never remember the difference between the two terms in my mind, because I want to say sociopath, but maybe I'll do some research while I'm editing this and then see which one most likely aligns. But yeah, it just opens up really crazy, and people were like, oh, it's so good, you should watch it. And I'm watching it, and it's like, I can't remember how many episodes, but I just remember the scenes being really, really long. And I'm like, why is this drawn out like this? Like, and then it was just not revolutionary. And people was like, you just gotta see, like it was just something that we've never seen before. But after watching this, I was like, has any one of y'all been raised around men, or just understand how men are raised, especially nowadays, even back in the day, because we met my brother, my God, or just the state of manhood at this current moment. And again, not all men. I know I have to put that out for the special people who don't, your comprehension skills might be not all the way there. Not all men. Of course, there are great men out there that exist. I don't know many, but apparently there are. This show was not groundbreaking. It's just like, I don't know if people are in denial. Like, there was a study just recently released, I believe, about how there is a lack of Black men in colleges. Like, the enrollment is like 17%, even at like HBCUs. And that's just Black men. We're talking about, not only Black men, but all men, in terms of just, I want to specify, because I want to be clear, not all men are terrible people. So that's the point that I want to just get out, because I have to keep saying it over and over. But it wasn't groundbreaking. That's what the point of all this long tangent that I'm on. It was not groundbreaking. Men can be scary. There's a reason why I would love to walk at night. I would love to mostly shop at night. I would love to do a lot of things at night, and just especially on these spring, summer nights, fall nights, and just take long walks. You can't do that because, and it's just, if the wrong man you reject, or you don't speak, or you don't smile, or you don't do something, your life can be in jeopardy. This is the reality that I, as a woman, live with on a daily basis. So no, this show was not groundbreaking to me. It was just, yeah. And it starts early. It did bring in the element of like the social media aspect of it, right? Because you do have a lot of men with podcasts and mics, and it's not good. And I don't want to go down that, because that's just not what my area. I don't want to bring them over here and then it's a situation, and that's not the type of environment that I want to have or foster on my channel. I want it to be lighthearted and fun, right? So I'm gonna stay away and pray that they don't, But anyway, if you ain't got nothing else to watch on a long flight, girl, watch it, but it wasn't that good to me. So the next show that I watched was, what was it called? First on the Call Sheet. And I wrote down, it was so nice of like all of the men and women to show up for this series. And it was produced by Jamie Foxx. Of course, the men had one special, the women had another. They both were about 90 minutes long. And I watched the men's first, and you could really, was a stark difference between the men and the women. And I'm just going to go down my notes because you know my memory is very highly suspicious. I wrote down that Jamie Foxx is so talented. Like he's so talented. There was, you know, Will Smith, they got Denzel to show up. Who else was there? The Rock was there. Kevin Hart, I think Kevin Hart also produced with Jamie. Michael B. Jordan. It was just an array of leading black men in Hollywood that it was good that they all took the time to participate in this. And it was just their documentary, their side of it was just so inspiring. It was fun. It was lighthearted. They talked about Chadwick, and I was tearing up. Michael B. Jordan was tearing up. The guy from London who was playing in Get Out, I can't remember his name, I didn't write it down. He was tearing up. Chadwick was just an overall good guy. You can tell that his influence was just major. But yeah, theirs was like, let's see what else I'm missing. I wrote down, this had to be filmed Will pre-slap, or Will ask that he not talk about it. So I think this was filmed pre-slap. I also wrote down, Eddie is such an icon, and he didn't have any mentors. And because he's talked about how James Brown told him to bury like $1 million in his yard, so the government can't take it away from him. Hilarious. But it was just like he had to get it out of the mud, and I identified with that so much. But it's very hard when you don't have like a solid mentor or someone to just like kind of guide you or just be that ear for you when you're trying to make these, you know, crazy and life and career decisions. And especially when you're doing something brand new, or he didn't have anyone, right? So that was interesting to see. And I took away the point about it being more, all of these people had one thing in common, right? There's like a theme among their segment was discipline. They were disciplined in everything that they did. Everybody kept mentioning discipline, and that's something I'm trying to get better with, especially with this channel, because I have goals for this channel, and just hearing that over and over was just very inspiring. Denzel mentioning that like he don't watch movies, he just wanted to make this amount of money, and he don't care if he was first on the call sheet as long as he's first on the payroll sheet. And I identify with that so much because I always say nobody at work has to know my name. As long as the payroll people and HR know my name when it's time to hit that direct deposit, that's all that really matters, nothing else. Yeah, girl, I don't care about anything except for does payroll know my name, right? And then I watched the women's side afterwards, and again, it was sad. It was about more so their struggles. I felt like there were less people or women participating because I feel like there was more men in that documentary. Like I was looking for, and maybe scheduling and all that stuff, but like Queen Latifah, Regina Hall, Regina King were noticeably missing, but they did get Halle Berry to show up, Whoopi, Taraji. That's all I can remember at the top of my head right now. Angela Bassett, she's so gorgeous, so regal. But it was more so about how hard they had it. It was very struggle bus situation, and how when Halle won for Best Actress, she thought it was opening the door, but there has never been, since Halle, no one's won Best Actress. There's been supporting actress, but nobody else. But it still breaks my heart. Two great performances that always, I'm like, are y'all serious? Angela Bassett as Tina Turner, Highway Robbery. Whoopi in The Color Purple. I know she got her Oscar for Ghost as supporting. Whoopi in The Color Purple. Those two roles, they need to, backdate that. I think they eventually did give Angela Bassett something, but they need to go back and specifically say, hey, we messed up. You should have won this, because what do you mean, right? But overall, I say definitely watched it. Like, I subscribed back to Apple TV just to, and then I forgot to mention that it is on Apple Plus or TV, whatever they call themselves right now, because I had run out of the free trial, so I paid my little $10 to just watch that, and I'm gonna turn it right back off because nothing on there that I want to watch currently. I have other stuff, and I'm not paying for all them stuff all at one time because it's too much. That's not the point of the story. That's a tangent. But yeah, check it out. It is a very, very good, I guess we call it documentary. So yeah, check it out. All right, let's get into some ratchet stuff. So typically I save Love and Hip Hop, both of them, Atlanta and Miami. The Real Housewives is just something that I watch just to watch for me, and I'm not thinking about taking notes while I'm watching it. But I had to add this to my handy dandy notebook this week because Rashida and Yandy are going at it. And they're on this couples trip, which is, their cast trip for the season. And, well, they took 2 cast trips. Or was that the previous season? Because they went to London, I believe, at the top of this season. And then now they have the cast trip to whatever island they're, are they in Mexico? Girl, I can't remember, but the point is, it is a couples trip. And Yandy and Rashida are apparently had an argument off camera where Yandy is mad at Rashida because Rashida said that she's not a real friend. I don't know. It was just, the point of it is they're both mad because they're married to ancient men, and they're mad because people are talking about it on camera, or I don't know. But I wrote down, these are marriages that they be fighting for? Like, does anybody on this cast trip have a marriage that hasn't been through fire, or just is terrible or toxic? Or I can't think of one. I can't think of one. And I wrote down, I'm not going to hell intentionally on numerous occasions for anyone. Because yes, and when you're in a marriage or partnership or whatever, yes, you're going to have some, like, I like to call them bumps, not hell. The key word in this is also intentionally, meaning something you did led us to go down this path, versus, life, shit be happening in life. If that's the case, like something like it is unintentional, then yes, I'm going to be there for you. We're going to get through this thing. But if you yourself are intentionally making decisions that take us to hell, I'm out. Pardon that interruption. Still a corporate girly on lunch break, trying to be more than one person. So pardon that interruption. But as I was saying, yes, I'm not going to hell with you. So intentionally, based on your decisions, I'm just not going to do it. I'm out. And I don't understand why people continue to fight for these marriages that constantly tear them apart privately and publicly. That's just mind blowing. But yeah, that was Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. All right, now let's talk about 90 Day Fiancé, The Last Resort Tell All. I wrote down, of course, we know that Jasmine is pregnant and she comes out and the producers are trying to make it like, oh, she's running late. Stop playing our face. We know y'all staging this for her to come out last, and then the cast to pretend like they didn't know. I'm pretty sure the streets was talking. Like, you know, people from South Carolina like to say the streets was talking already, and everybody probably already knew because Gino probably told them as well, right? And we see that Jasmine and Rob are getting into it, and it's just, it wasn't much to talk about. It was just pure shenanigans. Jasmine kind of outed Rob, but I'm pretty sure everybody already knew based on social media, because social media kind of like, everybody already knows unless that person is not putting that information on social media. But the rumors about Rob and what's out there, I don't know if y'all saw it or not, but it's been out there, and Jasmine just brought it to the TV basically. And people feel strongly about Jasmine being pregnant by, what's the boy name? Matt. I really don't care. So I don't have much commentary on it because I just think that Gino and Jasmine's marriage was hell from the beginning. So I really don't care. What I do care about is why Darcy and Stacey face look like that and why everybody acting like it's normal. But I guess what are you supposed to say, right? Like, if you're, because they're not her friends and you don't want to be rude, but the faces are a situation. I know Darcy has not gotten there yet, but Darcy's face looks worse than Stacey, if I can remember correctly. It just looks, I don't know, it's very scary at this point, and I want them to see a person, a therapist or something, because it's very scary. I also finished The Residence, and again, like I said before, that was 8 episodes too long. It could have been 2 at max, maybe, or just one long drawn out movie. And they drew that thing out to like the last 10 minutes of the show where it was unnecessarily just running around in circles. But I love the characters. I just hate the way, I don't like the way they took the story of how they just, you know, we didn't have to do all of that. So, but yes, spoiler alert, it was what was it? The planner, the White House planner, the little blonde white girl. She ended up being the killer. And there was a lot of, and she was like, of course, the rich one. There was a lot of messaging behind making her the one. But yeah, I just didn't like it that it took so long to get to the point. Like, yeah, anyway, let's keep going. I also wanted to talk about Gypsy Rose, because I watched this week's episode as well. And of course, what's the boy name? Ryan, because Ken is the current boyfriend. Ryan is social media obsessed, but Gypsy is as well. And she kind of hides behind wanting to, because I don't follow her on social media. None of that stuff runs across my timeline. I think that's on the other side of social media, where I don't know what happened on their side. But on my side, I don't see any Gypsy Rose content. I don't see posts from people and all that crazy stuff that people do. But I do, just because I searched on Twitter and saw that, yeah, people really hate her. Like, they have really strong feelings about this. And I'm like, this is a messy situation, because should she have done what she did? No, but y'all didn't have no empathy for what the girl went through, but that's besides the point. Gypsy is addicted to social media, and somebody pointed it out on Twitter, and they were like, you want privacy, you want people to leave you alone. And I think I mentioned this last week, but you're on social media, you ready to run. And I think for next week's episode, she goes to social media before she goes to her boyfriend with the results of the DNA test to see who the father is. Like, people have a weird sickness to social media. It's just like Young Thug. What's the boy name? I'm an auntie, I'm over 40, so Young Thug, you're on parole for 15 years. Get off social media. Go somewhere. You got money, I'm assuming, and live a normal life. But people just have to be on social media and tell every single thing. It's very weird. And I'm so glad that I was born in the time in the early 80s where I was able to have that time before social media, because my God, if we had social media in high school or middle school, it'll be just like what's happening right now. So I'm just, she needs to get off social media. I don't think Ken is a red flag. I think he's a little bit controlling. So he has some red flags as well. I just think she doesn't clearly pick good men. I think she doesn't, I don't know. I think she needs a lot more therapy and help than she's receiving. And she needs to be by herself. But she has a child now, a daughter, so she pretty much can't do that. But she definitely needs to stay off social media, because that is a sickness. And then lastly, I wanted to watch Damon Wayans' interview with Shannon Sharpe. And I wanted to watch it because Damon doesn't do a lot of interviews, right? He didn't start doing interviews until Papa's House, which I started watching, but it just was corny. But still, I want to support it, but I was in there for like maybe 6 episodes. I hung in there as long as I possibly could, but it just wasn't good. But yeah, so I like to just hear more information outside of Marlon. I like to hear from other Wayans because, you know, Marlon is always talking. And I went to Shannon Sharpe's YouTube channel, and I hadn't really, like, I've seen clips, but I've never really tuned in for like try to watch a full episode. I've seen clips on Twitter based on just what people post. It was so cringy because Shannon is such a terrible interviewer, and Damon was talking about serious stuff like his brother having mental health issues and being basically a schizophrenic, and Shannon, he's cackling. Sir, this is not, and he's asking dumb questions, and it was just the follow-ups. Like, I don't even have a journalism stuff. My degrees are in something else, but I know how to, I mean, I could use that degree to do that, but it's not specifically in journalism. So I could do a better job than that. And it's just embarrassing because a legend, an icon like Damon Wayans deserves so much better. He deserves Oprah, Gail. I don't want him to do Sherry. Did we have anybody? God, I don't know. Let Demetria L. Lucas, like, somebody give me a good interview with Damon, because what I saw on Shannon Sharpe, I'm gonna call the authorities if he keeps doing this, because no, stop it. This is terrible. And I blame Kat, because Kat set all this off. And now people think Shannon Sharpe is the place to go. It's not. Somebody, Avengers Assemble in journalism, please, because this is terrible. Anyway, that is it for this week. I will catch you guys in next week's episode, and I'll be talking about, hopefully, what's this, Survival of the Thickest. There's also a new competition show on Netflix that I wanted to check out as well. I did watch Survivor, and I'll probably talk about that next week because I have a meeting to get to. So I'll just save Survivor for next week. I have not forgotten. And if there's anything else that you think I should check out, please feel free to suggest that in the comments below. And yeah, that is it. I will talk to you guys next week. Peace.